In this episode of Sailing Dark Angel, we set sail from Farmers Cay to make it to Georgetown. We fail miserably and wait out the weather to try again. A few days later, we sail to Rudder Cut Cay, where Dave fixes a broken cabinet door and I hang out with my Rudder Cut sea turtle friends. We grab what we think is the next good weather window and end up sailing briskly along the edge of squalls all the way to Georgetown. It's only mildly terrifying. If you like our videos, please smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. It's free for you and really helps our channel. So what are we doing today, Captain Dave?
We're going sailing.
Are we? Where are we going?
Maybe to Georgetown, maybe to Rat Cay. Maybe it all depends on what the weather's like out there, because it is supposed to turn from east to southeast. And once it turns to southeast, it's going to be hard to get down there. So,
but that's later on today, correct?
Yeah, that's later this afternoon.
Okay.
So if we get up there real early and sail real good, we might get there before it happens.
Yeah. And what's the wave situation out there like?
2 to 3 feet, 4 seconds apart. So it's going to be a little bit choppy.
A little bit.
A little bit, not bad.
Yeah. I always check the horizon to see if anybody else is out there doing the deed. And I'm not seeing any sails out there, any boats. It is early, but
don't call me that.
you know, there's a couple boats still anchored over there, and then us two idiots that are going to attempt to go sailing, and it's a little choppy, so we'll see how this goes. So what's happening now, Captain?
I'll predict wind, but it's as accurate as it usually is. And our east winds turned into southeast winds, so we can't sail into the southeast wind and get southeast. So we're heading in a galleon cut, and we're going to anchor and just work, I guess.
But we gave it a go, didn't we?
We gave it a go.
We gave it a go. What are we doing today, Captain Dave?
We are going to sail down to Rudder Cut as soon as we get pointed the right way to catch some wind.
Leaving from
Big Majors Cay, or sorry, leaving from Big Farmers Cay, and check out the rainbow.
It's right over us, which is super cool. We had a little sun shower going on. So what's happening now, Captain Dave?
We just arrived at Rudder Cut Cay.
Okay.
We're anchored. Shallow.
How shallow?
5 feet. At high tide.
Yeah, but we've done this before, so we're in pretty shallow.
We're charged sideways to everybody else.
Well, of course we are. Why wouldn't we be? As soon as the anchor dropped at Rudder Cut, I jumped in to do an anchor check.
All right, so the latest project is one that just came up in the last few days. The cabinet doors are not really held on well. They're just glued along this edge. Like this block right here. It's just glued in place. So I'm gonna clean this up and then I'm gonna try and put it back together with 5200. Oh. Well, at least it goes swimming.
I'm gonna go see some sea turtles.
So to get the cabinet door to line back up, I'm gonna have to put the block back on the door and then hang it. So we'll put the 5200 on the back of the block, screw the block onto the board, put the board on in place and close the door, and that should pin it in place, I hope. One of the big problems with 5200 is trying to reuse it because it just doesn't want to come out once you've opened it. So I'm destroying a drill bit.
This pretty little blue-eyed nurse shark is just hanging out under the ledge. I love these sea puppies. So I'll put the hinge back on. Now we'll see if that'll work. It does not work. It's not sitting flat. Not really sure how I'd clamp that, unless I take the door off now that it's in place and then clamp it, or not. Actually, it's holding right there. The thing slid completely out of place. It's nowhere even close. Alright, so you can see that the blocks now hold. It's in place. The door works. This is flexible and flimsy, but it always was. And I'm going to have to adjust that closure, but aside from that, we now have a working door. And with one little flick, they're gone. You're only close to a sea turtle if they allow you to be.
Last year our paddleboard developed a leak on the seam, and that was the end of it. So we bought the new body glove paddleboard that we have that Lisa's using now, and I was using our remaining paddleboard, which just in the past day or two has developed a leak in the seam. So the Airbo SB 10.6 foot that we had 2 of, we're now down to 0. So I guess we're back in the market for another paddleboard.
So Captain Dave, tell me what kind of exciting day this was.
All right.
So what happened?
Somebody woke me up very early this morning and told me that the wind had shifted and it was coming from the northeast. We gotta go. We hauled anchor as fast as we could, and we motored out with the rest of the Georgetown crowd, at least 10 boats, probably more. And then we got out the cut, and it was a southeast wind.
But it said north.
It said northeast. So we motored for about an hour and a half, and then squalls started. And we got squalls.
Oh.
But the sails were already up. And so we shut off the motors and we started sailing the squalls. At one point we hit like 25 knots of wind, and we were loosening up the sails and spilling wind so that we wouldn't, you know, do anything stupid, break the rig or whatever. And then the wind stabilized, and now we got wind on the beam at about 14 knots. We're sailing at 5.3, and we're gonna get in early.
How fast were we going with that squall?
8.2 knots.
We at 25 knots of wind.
Yeah, it was a little much.
It was very scary.
Doing great now.
Yeah, and this is what the seas look like. Whoa, the swells are big.
And we managed to get past the thunderstorm.
And yeah, there was lightning and thunder. Yeah, and there's a couple boats that are with us here, as you can see. And I think we caught up to the other crew because they don't have their sails up, but we do, and we're flying at 8 knots. It was crazy. So we're already to Barra Terra.
Got keys back there.
And there's thunder. But yeah, we're passing Barra Terra.